This is about changing our mind. And so, I like to tell people, if you're over 40, if you're over 50, if you're starting to gain some weight, if you'd like to lose some weight, if you've got some aches and pains in your body, if you've got any sickness, illness, or disease, if it's starting to show up in your relationships with food, in your relationships with substance, in your relationships with money, in your relationships with your children, your lover, your partner, your family, your friends, with with any part of your life starting to break down. If you're over 40, if you're finding you're in that middle age and you're just losing a little bit of motivation, a little bit of zest and playfulness with your life, it's likely that you've fallen into life. You've fallen into what life kind of teaches us. And life kind of teaches us some things that I think we need to get some new information about. So I just want to start off here by pointing out this slide. And I always refer to, my ideal customer being between 40 and 50. And there is a real, I think, legitimate reason for that. And this is why I say that this is where I focus my business, is because if you look at the hormone profile across, everyone in the world, a lifetime of hormones, once we hit 35, by the time we hit 40 for certain, these hormones start to drop down. Every single hormone in the body, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and melatonin, just to name a few, and for sure there's more. These things drop off after 40. And so for certain, by the time you see we hit 50 there, everything is compromised. And that's just the nature of things. For certain, part of this is because of our habits. And for certain, part of this can be corrected just by changing our habits and adding exercise. There's no question that we can restore these things. But, for sure, our body doesn't have the same hormones it did when we were 20 and 30. And as a result, we just can't process the same amount of food. So, whatever you were eating before 40, you've gotten into a habit of it. Well, now after 40 and 50, you're going to have to learn how to do it on a little bit less. And, the common knowledge in the world that's taught, the protein power plan, and, go to the gym and kind of blow your brains out to burn more calories in and calories out. These ideas, won't really support you over 40 or 50 because you just don't have the hormones to manage it. And you can see that here. And so, if you're over 40 or 50 and you're having any negative effects with your energy, with your motivation, with your desire, it's very likely that, you need to get some new information, because the information that they're telling you in school, the information, I went to McMaster, I studied at university, I studied kinesiology, and I learned these things about metabolism, about calories in and calories out. This is what we're taught. This is what we're all taught. And then we're jumping on the scale and we're measuring ourselves, and we're measuring ourselves by our bank account, by the car that we drive, by the house, the street number that we live on, the type of clothes that we wear. And we're getting very stuck in the physical, the body weight, the clothing size. And we start to really judge ourselves from physical measurements, from external measurements. And also the things that we've been taught from kindergarten about the 4 food groups and about, what nutrition is required for the body. All of this stuff, in addition, to our life experience and all of our friends and family and neighbors and everything that we look at on TV in the media, everything is kind of telling us that we are, not good enough. When we look at ourselves, when we step on the scale, when we look at the bank account, when we look at where we live or the types of clothes that we have, and we're always comparing ourselves to others, that this external looking outward to get our value is a serious problem that requires a change of mind. So I want to say that if you're over 40 and over 50, truly, we really need a new story. It just can't be this old story that we've been told again and again and again. We've got to build up our muscle. We've got to get in the gym and speed up our metabolism by building up our muscle. This is what we're told. We've got to expend more calories, and then we've got to watch the calories that are coming in. Now, I talk to people over 40, over 50, and hopefully by this point in your life, you're starting to see that this does not work, that this is not the truth, or it's just part of the truth. That calories in and calories out, if you try to count your calories and watch, you'll see that, maybe you drop your calories for a while, but it does not continue the scale to go down, down, down. So there is a problem with this idea that we have been sold. This is a false idea that's supported by science and sold in the media and on TV and at all the water fountains. This is what everyone's talking about. I used to teach this. I taught this idea for 25 years. Calories in, calories out, 3,500 calories equals a pound of fat. So if you want to lose some weight, you've just got to, restrict yourself some calories, and that's what it's all about. It's about carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, and this is what we're told. And this while there is some truth to this, while the body can for certain get some of its energy from proteins and carbohydrates and fats, that this has also a negative effect to it. Like there is a negative waste that's left in the body when we follow this sort of frame of mind. And that idea that we need to rip our bodies in the gym to make them grow bigger so that they burn more calories so that we can be fit, healthy, and well. And what ends up happening is you just end up getting bigger and not losing weight at all. I don't know if you've had this experience yet, if you can relate to this experience, but truly, this is what I've seen. I've been a coach for 30 years, and this is all that I've seen, is people struggling to lose their weight between, over 40, once they come into the middle age, that this mathematical problem that we're taught just isn't working. And part of it comes down to this, big protein myth. We're told that we need this protein. We've been told this. We've been told this since we were young. We've been taught about protein. And I want you to consider, have you ever heard of anyone that's died of a protein deficiency? Like, you really have to use a little bit of logic to see the truth. And if you really understand the science of protein, I've got this image on the left. You see these colored dots here. This chain of colored dots is a chain of amino acids. And amino acids in a chain create a protein. And so when we eat a protein, an animal protein or any kind of protein, when we eat the protein, then the body tries to digest it and break it apart to get the individual amino acids. It's the individual amino acids that the body needs. So a digestive process must undergo in order for this protease, this enzyme, to be created in the stomach, in the intestines, and to be put onto the protein in order for the protein to be digested into its amino acid parts. Truly, the body needs amino acid, but the education in the general population is to the protein. So I want to point out that this is a miseducation, that it's amino acids that we need. Well, why not just eat the amino acids and skip that protein part, and skip that digestion part, and skip that creation within the body to have to make this enzyme protease? And this is what we're doing when we're fasting. This is one of the things that we're doing when we're fasting, is we're saving ourselves the energy of creating this protease molecule, this protease enzyme. We're saving ourselves, creating bile in the gallbladder. We're saving ourselves the digestive processes in the stomach and the small intestines. We're saving ourselves the effort of the kidneys and the liver to then cleanse the body and blood from the digestive process. So the body is going through a lot of work to consume and digest proteins, carbohydrates, and fats to get these, individual blocks of amino acids. So we've been sold this protein idea, and I want to tell you that we've been sold this protein idea for over 450 years. If you look at the science and the origins of protein, protein is called protein because it was the first element. It was the first element discovered by a microscope 450 years ago. And it was such a rave when it was discovered that, everyone thought, oh, I've got to get protein in my diet. The cells are made up of protein. We need to eat protein. But, use your logical mind for a second. Cows don't eat protein, or any protein or amino acids that they get from grass. So see that if you really think about it, that idea that we need to tear our bodies apart, to, rip our cells apart, to, then eat copious amounts of protein to make the cells regenerate stronger. This is the theory of, going into the gym and doing the overload principle and ripping your body apart in the gym. This is the idea that we're sold. And this is really a backwards idea that's holding us back. But it's the kind of common knowledge that everyone has and thinks and speaks about at work, at the cooler. This is what everyone says. And this is why no one can be successful with their weight loss. Truly, we need to get a new mindset. We need to get a new approach to our weight loss and our health. It's a change of mind that we need. So here, I just want you to see that, when you look at the apple, you'll see that there's no protein in the apple. And this is what's misleading is, people think, oh, well, I can't get my protein from the apple, so I better eat, well, even a piece of cake has more protein in it. You might think logically that that's a good thing. But in reality, if you look over at the amino acid profile of a fresh apple, you'll see that all of the amino acids are in the apple. So we get misled. We think, oh my gosh, there's no protein in the apple, but the apple has all of the amino acids that my body needs. So truthfully, what I want you to understand is that fruits and vegetables contain all the amino acids that your body needs to create health and wellness. And any idea that you've been told or sold about needing to have protein in order to be healthy is truly an untruth or a half-truth. I say a half-truth because maybe between the ages of 12 and 35, there might be some truth to this. And this is what they do, that, they look at the university athletes and they say, well, if we put them on protein diets and we put them under these excruciating training programs, that they build more muscle and they jump higher and they run faster. And that's all well and good because they have the hormone profile to support it. Truthfully, if you're over 40 or 50, you can't follow these programs that are being taught in the mainstream population. You really need to get at some new information. So I want to tell you that I really followed that information for most of my life. 25 years ago, I was in the Mr. Universe competition. Just 10 years ago, the picture on my left, I was, 40 pounds, 50 pounds heavier than I am right now. And you can see the swelling and inflammation in my body and life. I lived a life of that. Going to the gym, ripping my body apart and eating copious amounts of protein. I did it from 13 years old up until 40 years old when my body and life fell apart. And I now blame it on a misunderstanding, a miseducation that I had about health. And truly, health is not going to the gym and blowing your brains out in the gym. Health is not about consuming copious amounts of protein, and health does not depend on a need for animal proteins. So I am a survivor of the protein myth. My body was filled with pain, and I started to look at some alternative ideas. I looked at Dr. Michael Colgan, Dr. Brian Clement. He ran the Hippocrates Institute in Florida, where they were healing many people of cancer. Thousands of people have been in and had a positive experience at Hippocrates before it was closed down. I think it's about 5 years it's been closed down now, the Institute. And really just because what? Because they're sharing natural, healthy things. They're saying things and teaching things that go against the mainstream population, go against the allopathic community. And unfortunately, the allopathic community has, a real control over the media and the governments, and the corporate dollars is what's leading and driving the population in this way. This miseducation of the population is really just something that suits factory farming, and it's increasing the bottom lines of the top 500 corporations in the world. It's just a greedy population on top that's benefiting from a miseducation of the population through the educational system and through the media. I survived this miseducation. And what I want to talk to you about here a little bit today is just a little bit of a re-education. And I want you to look at fructose and glucose. And I want to do a little quick explanation about this. And I want you to understand that we've been taught that we're glucose beings, glucose eating beings. This is what we have been taught. And if you look at the chemical bonds of glucose versus fructose, you'll see how close these two molecules are. That the glucose and the fructose molecule are almost identical, except for one bond different. And I want to tell you that this very microscopic difference is what's zapping you of your health after 30 or 40 years of eating the wrong food for your species specific health. Truly, the human is not supposed to be a glucose eater. This is a miseducation as far as I'm concerned. Truly, once the human gets back on the nutrition that it's supposed to, the human starts to come back to health. Glucose is the sugar that comes from the digestion of vegetables. Fructose is the sugar that comes from the digestion of fruits. Fructose is the lowest glycemic sugar there is on the planet, and it has a special additional trait to it in that fructose does not require insulin to enter into the cell. And for this reason, fructose is the preferred fuel source for the body. Live fruits heal our bodies. Fruits capture the light of the sun and the energy, the photons. This is what we need. We need to change our understanding of nutrition. We need a new understanding of nutrition. We need new information to get healthy and well. And, going further, I want to just talk about the nervous system. And I want to say that the human is, a being that is all about sensation. Our sight, our hearing, our smell, our tactile, our touch, our feeling, sensation, our taste, our smell, all of our senses send signals back to the brain through the nerves. Every single sensation, every feeling, every touch, every relationship that touches us, it's all felt and perceived through the nervous system. And I want to tell you that the nervous system, it is sending signals. It's almost like an electric signal. And it's one cell to the next cell to the next cell, and it very rapidly sends the signal. And I want to tell you, and you can verify this if you do a little bit of study, that the way that the nerves send a signal is through potassium and sodium being pumped in and out of the cell. And this is how the cell sends signals. Truthfully, your nervous system is fueled by potassium and sodium, or electrolytes, the elements we find in our fruits and vegetables. Fruits specifically contain potassium and sodium. Truly, your nervous system will be healed by a fruit diet, a fruit-focused nutrition plan, a live nutrition plan. This is what we need to heal our bodies. So, this word metabolism, it's thrown around so loosely and it's so misunderstood. I just want to say that metabolism truly it's really about getting energy for the cell. ATP is cellular energy. And really, most of our metabolism comes from taking in oxygen, taking it into the cell, taking it into the mitochondria of the cell, and converting it through the Krebs cycle, through the Calvin cycle, and creating ATP from it. Truly, the metabolism is an oxygen metabolism. The human is oxidizing, taking in oxygen, the gift from the trees, and breathing out carbon dioxide, giving the gift of carbon dioxide, the nourishment to the trees. Metabolism is more about breath than anything else. Right? We've been told, that we need these proteins and fats and carbs. And truly, what we really need is a clear airway so that the body can process more O2, more oxygen. We are an oxygen breathing being. We create ATP and energy through the metabolization of oxygen and in the mitochondria inside of the cell. And these things do not require food. They happen without food. And this is why fasting is going to allow us to heal our body with a different approach to our health. It's to get away from this calories in, calories out idea completely, to let go of this idea that's got us stuck in an addiction to food. This is all it is we've become addicted to food because we've been miseducated about it. And until we get some new information and new understanding, we won't be able to get ourselves out of it. So, just to recap on that food idea, I like to share this one image in mind. We're told we get our energy from food, and I say it's a half-truth. If we really think about it, many people have gone 3 months without food. Few people have gone 3 weeks without water. And certainly, even fewer have gone 3 minutes without air. Truthfully, you can see, if you use your logical mind, how the human is truly nourished is it's by air. And what's happening to the body is that the lungs and many other organs in the body are actually becoming congested with mucus. And through that congestion, that the body's having a lack of oxygen coming through the system. And this is what's dulling and numbing us with age. And truly, once we get the right, truthful understanding of metabolism and nutrition, and the truth about energy, and the truth about our nature, then we'll start to come back to health. So I like to talk about authentic nutrition. And so I like to teach authentic nutrition because I want to get people away from those proteins and carbs and fats and get away from that idea. And let's get into the micronutrition. Instead of the macronutrition that we've been taught and told and sold, we need to get into micronutrition. And we get all of that from our live food, from our fruits and vegetables, from our juices. I already gave you that image of food being, something we could live 3 months without. But water, we couldn't live, most of us, 3 weeks without the water. We'd find discomfort much earlier than that. Truly, what the human needs for authentic nutrition is hydration. The water is made up of H2O. When the water gets in the light of the sun, the water changes into structured water. The photons of light are captured in the water. When I talk about authentic nutrition, I talk about our true nature. Everything here on the planet gets its energy from the sun. The first process of photosynthesis that happens in the trees, in the plants, is the chlorophyll in the leaves of the plant capture the sunlight, and they change the water that's inside the plant from H2O to H3O. This is structured water, and it's a sharing of an electron. The H2O, one of the hydrogen shares an electron to make it H3O, And that is the photons of light being captured in the water. That's the structured water that's captured in the fruit. That's what's captured in the live foods, in the fruits, vegetables, and juices. It's the structured water that brings that electron, that electric energy into the body. And that electron energy is what nourishes the body. We're nourished by light photons captured in water. We need hydration. We need light exposure. We need micronutrition, not macronutrition. We need new understanding in order to become healthy and well. We need authentic nutrition. So I like to talk about internal nourishment. Rather than being nourished by the food, I like to talk about being nourished by the thoughts and the words that are within me. Kind of imagine like the human, you've heard of this perhaps, the solar plexus. This is the sun within you. The solar plexus is the area of decision within the body, where we make decisions. You know, to make a new decision in mind is to stimulate the sun, the solar plexus within you, to change the way that you think and speak about yourself, about your food, about your future. This is the spark that your body and life need. It needs new information, new mental information, new mental imagery. We need to recognize that there are two parts to the mind, that there is the masculine and the feminine mind, and that we need both. And we need to exercise the feminine mind, the imagination, in order to become healthy and well. We need to stop thinking and talking about the problems, and we need to start leaning on our imagination to start thinking about a vision of something better, thinking about a vision of something more and different than what we have. Truly, in order for us to get healthy, in order for us to lose weight, in order for us to overcome pain, to fix our relationships, to make more money, truly, we'd have to believe first that we could. And the only way that that could happen would be if we were to believe it in our own mind. And the belief happens first in our imagination. We'd have to first put the idea in our mind that we could become healthy and well. And we'd have to spend more often, most of our time, thinking about that vision and bringing that vision into our reality. This is a change of mental that's required. So I like to talk about energy medicine. And I want to say energy medicine is really meditation, conscious breathing, sitting with the energy body, coming to the energy in the body, recognizing that the human has a physical body, recognizing that the human has a mental body, but the human isn't the physical body or the mental body. At death, the physical body remains and the human has left. Therefore, we know for sure that the human isn't the physical or mental body. The human can change their mind anytime they like. So obviously, human isn't the mind. We have body and mind, but we aren't body and mind. Truly, the human is energy, frequency, vibration. Truly, the energy is the spark that we've got within us. what we're holding in our mind. Is it a fear-based thought, an illusory thought, or is it an authentic thought, a thought that has its basis in love? In each moment, you have the power to choose a thought of love or to choose a thought of fear and worry about your weight, about your sickness, illness, and disease, or about the solution to it and for it. Really, health begins in mind, and it is a change of mind. Just to finish off today, I would like to do a little meditation. I'm not sure if anyone has any time problems, but I would love to, if I could, do a little meditation with anyone that has the time to spend right now. And I'd like to just kind of introduce ourselves to meditation. And I'd like to encourage you all over the next 10 days to be starting to develop a little bit of a mindfulness practice, a conscious breathing practice, and a conscious thought and word practice in the morning and in the evening. Can we begin and end our day with the right energy? Can we bookend our day with our very best thoughts and words? We want to try to conjure some positive thoughts and words in mind. So if we could just spend a couple of minutes right now to just focus on our breathing, and I'll just show you how simple it is. It doesn't have to be any rocket science in order for you to do this. You can do this right in your bed when you wake up in the morning. It's our first thoughts that influence our day more than anything else. When we're sleeping, we're unconscious. As soon as we come to conscious and we start to think, we start to create. Those first thoughts that come into the mind. In the morning, laying in bed, just as you wake, can you just sit and observe your in and out breath? Each breath nourishes you. Each inhale brings oxygen in. Each exhale releases carbon dioxide. Each inhale and exhale is whole and complete, just like the whole day is day and night. The breath is in and out. Watch your in and out breath. Let's just take 5 focused breaths together for a moment, just watching your breath. And just observing your breath alone is enough to start to change your energy. In the morning, if you could just wake and watch your inhale and your exhale, if you could just take a moment to just observe what's going on in your mind. Are you thinking about your trouble? Are you thinking about your problem? Are you thinking about what you're afraid of, what you're worried about? Because if that's what you're thinking, then that's what you're fueling in your life. So truly it's to come to the breath, to watch the inhale and exhale breath, and then to conjure in mind, in the imagination, some images of what you'd like to see happen today. Conjuring positive, affirmative thoughts and words in mind while you lay in bed in the morning, while you breathe, before you go to sleep. Putting the right thoughts and words in your mind to begin and end your day. To reprogram your mind is what we need to have happen. To get around positive people, to get into a positive community, to trust in something new, to open yourself up to something new, something that has a lot of science, ancient science, along with it, but has been hidden and suppressed from us all in the name of profits, to sell drugs, to make us addicted to things and shopping for the rest of our lives. These are the things that are going on. These are the things that have gone on. These are the things that have gotten us off track and having problems with our health over 40. Truly, we can come back to our very best. Meditation is an intricate aspect of that. I'm going to close out my little introduction to the mindset today. We will do some more meditation and healing and breath work specifically throughout this event. There will be sessions that are focused on deep dive into these things. Tonight, my goal was really just to frame up a new understanding and to attach it to science so that you understand the science of what we're doing. We're doing something different with natural health. It's not about getting nutrition into the body. It's about getting the blockages out of the body. We are releasing the physical mucus blockages, the acid waste, the inflammation, the pus and fluids that are blocked in the lymphatic system. We're eliminating them with a fruit diet, with a juice diet, with a water diet, with fasting, with dry fasting. We're eliminating the blockages. And along the way, we're releasing the emotional stuff that's stuck behind those blockages. This is emotional healing. This is energy healing, frequency healing. This is inner child healing. This is turning on the chakras. This is spiritual healing. This is natural health. And this is the only way that the body truly heals. This is authentic health. I'm talking about an authentic reality here for you. Thank you so much for staying with me and watching with me. I spoke a little longer than I had intended. I would love to answer any questions if anyone has any.